Hey everyone, Shadow from PokeMMO Investments here. I wanted to make another very quick video about some new information I got in regards to Santa's presents and winged helms. So I recently made a video covering these two items and their insane price spike, and in it I mentioned there was no evidence of market manipulation. Now, what I'm about to show you is not 100% proof, but it does show there are people out there that are heavily invested in the winged helm. Alrighty, so here it is. I was doing some more research on this topic today, as well as scouring trade chat, and I came across a person selling some winged helms. So I asked how many they had, and boy was I surprised. This person was willing to sell me 100 winged helms at 16.7 mil Pokeyen each. Just doing some quick math, that would be 1.67 billion Pokeyen. And this is one person. And they most likely aren't even offering me their entire stock. I'm absolutely sure you can see how this is wild. But let me add some more perspective to that. Assuming this person bought when it dipped to 5 to 6 mil Pokeyen a pop, let's assume 5.5 mil for easy math. This is a 550 mil Pokeyen investment, and this person, assuming they sell it all at 16.7 mil, is up 1.12 bill Pokeyen. Now again, this is just one person over a short period of time, just a few weeks after this event has ended. There is definitely much bigger money holding on to a lot more of these, hoping that they go the way of the Dragon Mask and hit upwards of 30 million each. There are a lot of people with obscene amounts of money in this game, and it would be very easy for them to buy any amount of a certain item, limited item, on the market for under, say, 10 million yen a pop. They would probably dollar cost average by starting to buy at 5 to 6 mil, and their total cost per item would be closer to 7 to 8 mil. This means they could slowly sell off their position and net a nice chunk of change. But that's not exactly how market manipulation works. In order to properly manipulate a market, there has to be some sort of demand, and you need to invest a lot of time and a lot of Pokeyen. In order to set a new glass floor for an item, meaning a price so low people will buy no matter what, because it seems very cheap, you would need to buy out the item for days and weeks. Once this happens, people will have something called price memory. Price memory is where you have seen something go for a certain value for so long that your brain automatically says, hey, that's the base price. It's been stable at that, and therefore, that's the price now. Anything below that is a steal, and anything over that by more than 100k is overpriced. This is what happens to lower end limited vanities, and it is why something like the Oni mask will stay at 400 to 500k until the market readjusts for how old it is or how little there are left on the open market, and then it shoots up. Now, back to the topic, price memory. We all have it, and as an investor, you cannot allow it to cloud your thoughts. Things can tank and not go back up. Things can shoot up and not go back down. There is risk involved, and nothing is a guarantee. It doesn't take too long for price memory to set in, especially on an MMO where there is less at stake. I'd say 2 weeks at best will change most people's price memory, and that is what short-term investors and market manipulators go for. 2 weeks, and they have created an artificial glass floor where they can have other people buying into the item at that price, and that is when they can sell it off over time. Now, let's pretend I was an evil investor, and I had a billion Pokeyen, and I wanted to manipulate the market for a certain item. I know what I would pick. Behold, the brown werewolf mask. A limited RP-only item that has a very cool animation, and will over time go up because of the previously mentioned factors. I've made a video about him if you're interested. It currently goes for 3.8 mil, and ends at one listing for 10 mil. So what would I do? Well, I think 6 million is a pretty good price, don't you? After all, the gray werewolf mask is almost 8 mil. Why don't we give the brown mask some love? Now, assuming I bought all listings under 6 mil, I would have to buy 109 masks, and more would come into the market as the price rose. I would also have to slowly buy them up, so it's not too obvious, so say 2 weeks time. Well, I took the time to count it up and add it all up, and it would cost roughly 522.5 million Pokeyen, just for the ones on the market. Now, let's get our average price paid per mask. So 522.5 divided by the 109 masks bought, and we get 4.8 mil Pokeyen, rounding up. Now let's assume we had to buy another 50 masks that come onto the market during the next 2 weeks, for an average of 4.8 mil each. Since there will be other people buying into the hype, meaning we don't have to buy all of them. Meaning that it will cost us another 240 mil Pokeyen for a total of 159 brown werewolf masks at a cost basis of 4.8 mil each, for a total of 763 million Pokeyen. And they are now trading for about 6 mil each, hypothetically, or possibly higher depending on what other players in the market do. I could now turn around and sell them over the span of half a year for, say, 5.5 million each. 5.5 times 159 is 874.5. Minus about 4 million in listing fees, we would make 111 million Pokeyen, or about 14.5% return for half a year, which isn't too bad, now is it? Now, what's happening with the winged helm is that there are a lot of hype and actual people, not just investors, who are buying it and pushing up and maintaining the price. So, that's why I chose the brown werewolf mask. It would most likely push much closer to 7 mil each and lift the price of the gray mask by a bit as well, since they are a similar item and a high tide raises all boats. Assuming you sold for 6.6 mil each, then you would make 286.4 million Pokeyen, or 282.4 million after listing fees, which is about a 37% return. Definitely not too bad, huh? Now, what the smart money would do is sell off 70% of the investments, get all the money they put in back, plus some profit, and keep the other 30% as a quote-unquote free investment. They'll keep going up in value as the item ages. Thank you everyone for watching this video. Quick disclaimer for those who are watching, I don't partake in market manipulation, and thus the info may not be 100% accurate, but it is as accurate as I can make it. Also, during the filming of this video, the brown werewolf mask moved up a bit, so the numbers are slightly changed. But the math is based off, pretty accurate numbers anyway. It all holds true. So thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, or send me a mail in-game. My in-game name is Investments. Surprised that wasn't taken. But anyhow, I hope you learned something. Sorry for this longer video where I just kind of spewed numbers. I hope it makes sense, as I put a fair bit of work into it. Have a great night, y'all.